pretty smiles does it take to be happy? How many times do you have to feel lonely before you get the chance to meet someone, before you get to meet someone like you? How many songs can you write about heartbreak? How to go on when you're fed up with mistakes? Maybe I just found the answers. Maybe I just found the answers in you. Come give me all your love. I want you to know we can make it together. Let the wind blow. All we need is each other. Come take my hand, you're all that I have now. I won't let you go, 'cause I found all the answers in you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Take me away. I'm okay if I got you. We don't have to stay. We can do what we want to. Just give a little bit of your heart. Give a little bit of your heart to me. All of my scars start to heal when I'm with you, and I can't explain how I feel when I'm with you. Just give a little bit of your heart. Give a little bit of your heart to me. Just come give me all your love. I want you to know we can make it together. Let the wind blow. All we need is each other. Come take my hand, you're all that I have now. I won't let you go, 'cause I found all the answers in you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Take me away. I'm okay if I got you. We don't have to stay. We can do what we want to. Baby, I just found the answers. Baby, I just found the answers in you.
Oh, you look amazing.
For a hug, let's go for a hug. Just text it to 60777. Text it to 60777.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please all take your seats? Would you like to take your seats? Ladies and gentlemen, we have two very special people in front of us today who wish to marry. Just so that I know I have the correct two people, can I ask you both please to identify yourselves by telling me your full names?
Rhys James Hatfield.
Ruth Marie Mackin.
Thank you. Well, on behalf of the bride and groom, the management and staff, and the registration service for County Durham, I'd like to welcome you all to the beautiful setting here of Ramside Hall Hotel. My name is Mike, and as the Deputy Superintendent Registrar, it's my pleasure to be conducting the ceremony. Our Registrar today is Catherine, and Catherine's role is to ensure that all of the legalities around the ceremony are met, as well as overseeing the signing of the schedule at the end. And if I can just say for both Catherine and myself, it's not just a pleasure, it's a privilege and an honour for us to be included in this part of your special day. Now, marriage brings together not only two people who are in love, but two sets of families and two sets of friends, all united in the couple's happiness. And we celebrate the love and the commitment that Rhys and Ruth have for each other today. And I'm sure it means a great deal to them both that you have all come along to share in this wonderful occasion with them. And as we celebrate, I'd like us first of all to reflect just a little on what marriage means. Marriage is a bond to be entered into only after considerable thought and reflection. It's a desire by two people to accept each other for who they are and to share all that they are and all that they have with each other. It requires honesty, patience, and let's not forget a great deal of humour. It requires the ability to listen, the wisdom to know when you are wrong, and the humility to be able to put things right. But above all else, what marriage requires is unquestioning love. So for Rhys and Ruth, getting married today is a proud confirmation of the love, the respect, and the true friendship they have for each other. And by uniting together in marriage, they will be there to offer each other strength and support to face whatever life may hold for them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this place in which we are now met has been duly sanctioned according to the law for the celebration of marriages. And you are all here today to witness the marriage of Rhys James Hatfield and Ruth Marie Mackin. Rhys and Ruth, before you are joined together in matrimony, I have to remind you of the solemn and the binding character of the vows you're about to make. Marriage in this country means the union of two people voluntarily entered into for life to the exclusion of all others. Therefore, if any person present knows of any lawful impediment why Rhys and Ruth should not be joined together in matrimony today, you should declare it now. Well, you clearly chose your guests very well. Stephen, can I ask you to come forward, please? And if I can ask you to take hold of Ruth's left hand, Stephen. Well, you've so very proudly escorted your beautiful daughter down the aisle today, so I now ask you, do you bring Ruth here today to be married to Rhys?
I do.
Do I therefore have your permission to continue with the ceremony?
You do.
Thank you. Can I ask you to pass Ruth's left hand across to Rhys in marriage? Rhys, if you take Ruth's hand, and if you'd like to return to your seat. And if you want to grab hands, you can. Well, a marriage is formed by you both making two vows. The first, which is the declaration, is there to ensure that there is no just cause to prevent the marriage. The second, the contract, is by far the more important of the two to you both, because this is where you will solemnly swear to take each other as partners for life. So I am now going to ask each of you in turn to make the first of these two vows by declaring that you do not know of any legal reason why you should not be married to each other. And as with everything we do in a marriage ceremony, I'm going to start with the theme. So nice and clear and nice and loud so that everyone can hear. Can you please repeat after me, Rhys? I declare that I know of no legal reason why I, Rhys James Hatfield, may not be joined in marriage to Ruth Marie Mackin. And Ruth. I declare that I know of no legal reason why I, Ruth Marie Mackin, may not be joined in marriage
may not be joined in marriage
to Rhys James Hatfield.
to Rhys James Hatfield.
Well done. Well done. Well, I'm sure it can be very easy to become caught up in all the details of planning a wedding, and sometimes we can lose sight of marriage beyond the big day and the lasting essentials that matter, such as love, companionship, compromise, and let's not forget the lifelong promises we make to each other. So with that in mind, I now have a couple of important questions I need to ask each of you. According to the law of this country, do you, Rhys, take Ruth to be your lawful wedded wife?
I do.
And will you love, respect and cherish her for the whole of your lives together?
I will.
According to the law of this country, do you, Ruth, take Rhys to be your lawful wedded husband?
I do.
And will you love, respect and cherish him for the whole of your lives together?
I will.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the solemn moment where these two people will contract their marriage before you all as witnesses. Rhys, Ruth, you have both publicly declared your freedom to marry and your intention to marry each other. So I am now going to ask each of you in turn to make the contractual vows that will unite you in marriage. So I'd like you to face each other, please, and join both hands together. I'd like you to say these words directly to each other. However, again, I must ask for them to be said loudly and clearly so that everyone can hear. I'm going to start with you. Rhys, if you can repeat after me. I, Rhys James Hatfield,
I, Rhys James Hatfield,
take you, Ruth Marie Mackin,
take you, Ruth Marie Mackin,
to be my wedded wife.
to be my wedded wife.
And Ruth. I, Ruth Marie Mackin,
I, Ruth Marie Mackin,
take you, Rhys James Hatfield,
take you, Rhys James Hatfield,
to be my wedded husband.
to be my wedded husband.
Well, a nod from your registrar says she's happy. And what a lot of people don't realise is the marriage contract itself is a verbal contract. So having spoken your vows to each other before your registrar and your two witnesses, I can tell you, you are now married in the eyes of the law. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in addition to their marriage vows, Rhys and Ruth have decided that they would also like to make personal promises to each other. And these promises are there to further enhance the vows they have already spoken. So I'm now going to ask each of you to make your promise to the other, again by repeating after me. So if you can hold hands again, please. Rhys, can you repeat first? Ruth, I promise to honour you,
Ruth, I promise to honour you,
to grow with you
to grow with you
for the whole of my life.
for the whole of my life.
I will love you
I will love you
and care for you.
and care for you.
I will trust
I will trust
and be honest with you
and be honest with you
in good times
in good times
and in bad.
and in bad.
I will share
I will share
your interests and hopes
your interests and hopes
for the future.
for the future.
I will laugh with you,
I will laugh with you,
cry with you,
cry with you,
and always be with you.
and always be with you.
Rhys, I promise
Rhys, I promise
to honour you,
to honour you,
to grow with you
to grow with you
for the whole of my life.
for the whole of my life.
I will love you
I will love you
and care for you.
and care for you.
I will trust
I will trust
and be honest with you
and be honest with you
in good times
in good times
and in bad.
and in bad.
I will share
I will share
your interests and hopes
your interests and
hopes
hopes
for the future.
for the future.
I will laugh with you,
I will laugh with you,
cry with you,
cry with you,
and always be with you.
and always be with you.
Well done. And bearing in mind these were your chosen words and not mine, all I would ask you now is, throughout the whole of your married lives together, please always remember the promises you have made to each other today. Well, as I have already said, Rhys and Ruth, you are now married in the eyes of the law. However, a more public expression of marriage is the exchange of wedding rings. Now, a wedding ring is the ancient and the traditional way of sealing the marriage contract. It's an unbroken circle which symbolises unending and everlasting love. But it's also an outward sign of the promises you have both made to each other today. The wedding ring is placed on the third finger of the left hand because traditionally it's believed that this finger has a direct connection to the heart. So where better to place a symbol representing eternal love and commitment? Rob, if I can ask you to come forward please, and hopefully you've got the rings with you. I can ask you to pass Ruth's ring to Rhys first, please. Oh,
Got a helper as well.
a helper with you.
I'll leave that.
Rhys, if you can place this halfway down the third finger of Ruth's left hand and just hold it there. Repeat after me. Ruth, I give you this ring
Ruth, I give you this ring
as a sign of our marriage
as a sign of our marriage
and my love for you.
and my love for you.
I promise you my friendship,
I promise you my friendship,
my respect,
my respect,
and my trust forever.
and my trust forever.
And if you can push the ring. And if you can now pass Ruth's ring to Ruth, please. And Ruth, if you can do the same. Put down the third finger and repeat after me. Rhys, I give you this ring
Rhys, I give you this ring
as a sign of our marriage
as a sign of our marriage
and my love for you.
and my love for you.
I promise you my friendship,
I promise you my friendship,
my respect,
my respect,
and my trust forever.
and my trust forever.
And if you can push them along. Well done. Thanks, Robert. If you'd like to retake your seat. And just before we move into the closing words of the ceremony, I would just like to read a quote by the poet Edmund O'Neill, which says, "When two people pledge to love and care for each other in marriage, they create a bond unique to themselves, which binds them closer than any spoken or written words. Marriage is a promise, a potential, made in the hearts of two people who love, which takes a lifetime to fulfill." Well, Rhys and Ruth, today will form a milestone in your lives. You'll both look back upon it with love and happiness, the start of a new phase in your life together. And we all hope that the feelings of love you have for each other will deepen and grow stronger throughout the years to come. In the presence of your families and friends, you've both made the declarations prescribed by law and have made a solemn and a binding contract with each other. You've symbolised your marriage by the joining of hands and the giving of rings. So this now leaves me with only one remaining duty to perform, and it gives me the very greatest of pleasure to pronounce you husband and wife together. And Rhys, in that time-honoured tradition, would you like to kiss your beautiful bride? Filled with all the special dreams you are dreaming of. May the happiness you found today together be yours throughout a lifetime of love. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in wishing all the very best in the future to the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hatfield.
does it take to be happy? How many times do you have to feel lonely before you get the chance to meet someone, before you get to meet someone like you? How many songs can you write about heartbreak? How to go on when you're fed up with mistakes? Maybe I just found the answers. Maybe I just found the answers in you. Come give me all your love. I want you to know we can make it together. Let the wind blow. All we need is each other. Come take my hand, you're all that I have now. I won't let you go, 'cause I found all the answers in you. Ooh.
Good afternoon, everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Steve, Ruth's dad. Before I say anything else, I want to thank you all for being here. I know it means a lot to the bride and groom, and to me also. I would like to welcome Jed and Joanne, Rhys's mum and dad, into the family, and say thank you for everything they do for Ruth, Rhys and the kids. Well, we finally got here, 2 years later, 3 dates, 2 wedding dresses. Luckily, it's the same groom. I always thought Ruth's wedding would be challenging, but never expected a pandemic. Throwing a spanner in the works. Yes, Rhys, the spanner's from your shop, not Halford's. As I look at my daughter today, the bride, I can't help but reflect on all the years I was lucky enough to watch her grow and become a beautiful woman what she is today. She captured my heart on the day she was born, and I become so proud of her as the years pass by. She is my little girl, my princess, and no matter of her age, she'll always be those things to me. Ruth, you look beautiful today, and I'm very, very proud of you. When Ruth was a little girl, she hated men, including me, and I thought to myself, get in, there'll be no blokes knocking on my door. Doesn't seem 5 minutes ago that you were a very little girl with palm trees stuck on your head, wearing frilly knickers courtesy of a big nana, pushing a doll in the pram and riding her bike up and down the greenway, but never past the post box. She was never allowed past that post box. Then one day the frilly knickers were swapped for tracksuits and football kits, and my weekends were taken up with football again. When I thought it was all gone, I thought it was a mum's turn to take a dancing and all them things girls do. But no, you were our little Vinnie Jones. Crazy she was as a footballer. From football you found makeup and hair straighteners, and had many a tantrum when you found a kink in the straight hair. We thought these were the hard teenage years, but kink in the hair was the least of our worries, because at that point you found alcohol and boys. Came knocking at the door, and I wasn't impressed. After all, she's my baby girl. I've had to go and collect her in some states with her stupid high heels and various shapes and sizes, but next morning I always made her a recovery stack of pancakes, which seemed to do the trick. She was fine after them. Then one night I was going out and there was a Mercedes parked next door. At first glance I wasn't impressed. I thought, who's this? It didn't look right to me, and I thought, he looks like a drug dealer. Anyway, after a long discussion with Ruth, well, I say discussion, you know what I mean, argument, because that's what it was. Ruth convinced me that it was a lad she had met, not a dealer, and she liked him. And she would introduce us properly at a later date. That was fine, but the only problem with that was the later date, me and Sylvie had been out all day, all night, and Rhys walks in and we were sat on the settee, a bit worse for wear, and it must have been Rhys's turn to think, what am I getting myself into here? During the time we have known Rhys, we have come to realise just how special he is to Ruth and how much alike they are. They argue like God knows what, so they are, the same. They both have a heart of gold and will help anyone out. I do praise Rhys about a page and a half about a super guy and what great things he's done over the time. But Rhys, I can't read your writing, so that's no good. However, seriously, I know Rhys is a good lad who has already showed us how much love he has for Ruth, Ruby and Rory. What more could a parent want for their daughter and grandchildren? When Rhys was planning to proposing to Ruth, he was a wreck, made worse by the fact that tried all day to get hold of me, but I wasn't available. To ask me for Ruth's hand in marriage. He got there in the end and made Ruth very happy on that day in Whitby. Especially when they were walking along the pier. Rhys knelt down, Ruth turned around and said, "Get up." She thought he'd fell down. He was on one knee. Rhys, you're already a part of our family, but we welcome you as Ruth's husband and our son-in-law. We are crazy, we have our moments, but we're not a bad bunch, really. I'm not losing a daughter because I can't ever give her away, but instead I am gaining a son-in-law who will clean my car and do all sorts for me. Ruth and Rhys, you know this, but I'm very proud of you both and what you have achieved. You have equally worked hard to get where you are today. You have given us 2 out of 7 beautiful grandchildren. What are you laughing at that for? And Rhys, I only ask one thing of you. Please take care of my daughter. Ruth, you will always be my princess, and I love you all the world and a bit in a bucket. But today you have become Mrs. Hatfield, and now it's Rhys's job to take care of you, and I'm sure he will. Marriage isn't easy, it can be challenging. It's about give and take, talking to each other about problems and feelings, but it's also about fun, respect and love. So Ruth and Rhys, I hope you have a long and happy marriage together. So will you all join me and raise a glass to the new happy couple, Mr. and Mrs. Hatfield.
Mr. and Mrs. Hatfield.
Thank you, I'm sorry I didn't buy it.
I'd like to thank all the bridesmaids for helping Ruth get ready and looking all beautiful. I'd like to thank my best man Rob and my groomsmen for helping me. And I'd like to thank my mum and dad for helping us with the wedding, and also Steve and Sylvia, because without them we definitely wouldn't have been able to afford it. So yeah.
Is it from him?
But yeah, I don't really like speaking, so that's why it's short and sweet. So yeah, I'm going to pass you on to Rob, and don't believe
Ellie.
everything he says. Oh, is it Ellie now? Oh well, when it's Rob's.
As maid of honour, as a woman that you get asked to do a speech. So I've gone all out there. And all I can say is block your ears. Can't sing, by the way. Here we sit as guests today to witness this special day. Mr. and Mrs. Hatfield, what can we all say? Rhys, you've pulled a beauty, as I'm sure you'll all agree. She's a 10 out of 10 and you're a 3. She's my best mate since we were 2. Don't know what I'd do without you. Friends for life and always will be. Now we're wifey. Raise a glass to this lass. Now it's signed and sealed. First class bride of Ramside, the brand new Mrs. Hatfield. I am honoured to be by your side today, as maid of honour, the most important role they say. Remember falling in the fire and you weren't even sad. That was outdoors until cuddled by your second dad. Playing calves with our pots and lids. Now we've got our own kids. Friends for life and always will be. A wifey, raise a glass to this lass. Now it's signed and sealed. First class bride, a Ramside, the brand new Mrs. Hatfield. I am honoured to be by your side today as maid of honour. And when you're arguing and you want to sack him, remember your mum and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Mackin. Their marriage has taught you what love should be. But you know what love is, 'cause of Ruby and Rory. Raise a glass to this lass. Now it's signed and sealed. First class bride, a Ramside, the brand new Mrs. Hatfield. Here we stand on your wedding day. Please raise a glass to the Hatfield wedding day.
A wise man once told me that the best man's speech should have lasted as long as the groom to make love. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day. Oh, right. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rob. For those of you that do, I apologise. My full name is actually Rob. Would you like a drink? For those of you that I meet at the bar later, I would appreciate it if you used my full name. Anyway, I'm the best man, although I'm not sure how I landed this job, because anyone who's seen us together would actually think that we hate each other. I'm joking, of course. I'm proud to be standing here next to my best mate and his beautiful wife on their wedding day. I have to say that, though, of course, because considering Rhys has promised that if I do a good job, I can be best man at his next wedding as well. Firstly, I'd like to thank the wonderful bridesmaids and the parents of the bride and groom for everything they've done today to make this day so special. Speaking of parents of the bride, I did actually ask Sylvia how she felt to see her daughter get married today, and she said it only feels like yesterday she was going to bed with her dummy. Funny how history repeats itself. I'd also like to thank everyone who's travelled so far, especially those from the other end of the country. It's amazing the lengths that some people will go to for a free meal and a glass of wine. Moving on. Me and Rhys haven't actually known each other that long, considering how close of mates we are. It's been around 8 years since we met. There aren't many memories between me and Rhys. Ones that don't incriminate me, that is. So I think the best way to keep everyone happy is to move forward, is to bring up the memories that I share with Rhys and Ruth. Of course, the first memory I have with them is the first night Rhys introduced the lads to her. Ruth had joined our group and never left Rhys' side. After a night of necking on and obscure dance moves that we shouldn't really mention, they ended up going home together. That was fine after the first night, but it started to become a bit annoying. After that, we hadn't seen Rhys for over a month. Turns out Ruth had moved in and they hadn't left the house. Talk about getting the claws in. It must have been true love, because after that month, Rhys wouldn't stop complaining about how Ruth had left her clothes on the floor, rubbish in the bedroom, and that he always had to clean up after her, but still never asked her to leave.
There's been so many nights that the three of us have had out together, usually full of love, laughter, and of course arguments. There's always one night that really stands out though. You know what I'm going to talk about. Standard night out, the lads were out, Ruth and her friends were out. What could go wrong? Anyway, it gets to about midnight and Rhys, after a litre of Jack Daniels of course, couldn't find Ruth in flares. Of course, any normal person would try and find their girlfriend, maybe assume that her phone had died and he'd find her eventually, but not Rhys. Nah, not Rhys. Firstly, he rang her friends. Fair enough. Then he rang Steve. Understandable. And finally, he rang the police to open up a missing persons report. If that isn't the definition of dramatic, I don't know what is. You okay after that, mate? Right, moving away from the stories, I'm sure everyone will agree that today is a sad day for single men, and there's another beauty leaves the available. Can't get my words out. Leaves the available list. And ladies, I'm sure you'll agree that today passing by without much of a ripple. 6 years down the line, and they're both standing here on their wedding day, never happier. They've produced 2 beautiful children, and they're living in their own home. I know it's a proud day for them because Rhys has implied that their house is finally finished. It's been going on all morning that tonight there's not going to be no more banging or screwing. Say it's a joke. Don't worry. Finally, I just want to say I've got a little advice for the bride and groom. Hopefully advice for a long and happy marriage. Number 1, make sure you set the ground rules and establish who's boss. And Rhys, do everything Ruth says. Rhys, never laugh at what Ruth wants in life because remember she wanted you. And Ruth, don't be proud of your own choices. Ruby and Rory wouldn't be here without bad decisions. I think we can all agree that it's turned out a lovely day for Mr. and Mrs. Hatfield. Thank you for everyone for coming. So if everyone could stand and raise a glass. I wish you all both the love and happiness in the world. To Rhys and Ruth. Well done, Rob. I thought you were heckling me, you bastard.
Look at the two of you dancing that way, lost in the moment and each other's face. So much in love, you're alone in this place, like there's nobody else in the world. I was enough for her not long ago. I was her number one, she told me so, and she still means the world to me, just so you know. So be careful when you hold my girl. Time changes everything, life must go on. I'm not gonna stand in your way. I loved her first, I held her first, and a place in my heart will always be hers. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the love of a father runs deep. And I prayed that she'd find you someday, but it's still hard to give her away. I loved her first. How could that beautiful woman with you be the same freckle-faced kid that I knew, the one that I read all those fairy tales to, and tucked into bed all those nights? And I knew the first time I saw you with her, it was only a matter of time. I loved her first, I held her first, and a place in my heart will always be hers. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the love of a father runs deep. I prayed that she'd find you someday, but it's still hard to give her away. I loved her first. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the love of a father runs deep. Someday you might know what I'm going through, when a miracle smiles up at